Well, hello there, everybody. I'm the host of the Watercraft Journal. My name is Kevin Shaw, and today we've got greenhulk.net, Greenhulk Garage, Fortech Performance, the Master Guru, the next jet ski Jesus, Greg Gaddis, with us. And so say hi, Greg. It's been a while.
What's up, everybody?
Hey, all right. We had a false start. I tried starting this about a minute ago and realized I'm so out of practice I forgot to hit the live button. So apologies for that. Anyhow, we want to welcome everyone here for a very long overdue. I think it's been 5 or 6 months since the last time we've done a podcast. Since we've done a Watercraft Journal IRL. So I know it is it's an unusual night to do it on Monday nights, but I like to have my Sundays, and I'm not going to do it during the middle of the week. I got kids with soccer practice and dance and activity nights and blah, blah, blah. And yeah, it's going to be Monday night. Live with it. Hopefully a lot of you guys haven't given up hope on the Watercraft Journal. We have been producing at least a video every 4 weeks. We are not doing the weekly or the daily stuff. I don't know if you guys wanted me to do more daily stuff and cut these things up into the short topics. They didn't typically do all that great, but we can fire up the old Wayback Machine and crank up stuff like that. I just don't know to what degree do you guys want that level of content. So, or if there's that level of content even to be had. So, all that being said, we're here tonight. We're going to have a good conversation. We're going to have some fun. Guaranteed we're going to run over. So hopefully you guys are in for the long haul because it's been a while. Wanted to actually, well, I was joking before we started. I had to acknowledge Greg's retro long sleeve Kawasaki racing shirt.
Yeah, I don't know how old it is, but it's not new. So
that is not new, and that is very, very cool. That is with Fox Racing, and what's the third one? There's a Cowie, Fox, and
Extreme,
whatever Extreme is. All right. Yeah, the long sleeve shirts, and amazingly they sold white shirts to guys working on motorcycles and jet skis.
This was my favorite shirt, and then I got an oil stain on it.
Yeah,
so now it's a work shirt.
Yeah, now it's no longer your going to town shirt. It's
right.
I can't take the girls out on a date with this one. This is
no.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? We with the car magazine that I own, with Mopar Connection magazine, we did a retro red ring, like very 70s retro shirt that was designed after the old Direct Connection catalog t-shirt. I can't give those shirts away. These guys, I was at a trade show this last weekend, and they're like, man, it's cool. And the two answers were, I'm either too fat for that shirt.
Yeah.
Or I can't wear white. I immediately get stains on it. It's terrible.
Yeah.
So that's a tough one for us. Most of the shirts that we sell for the car magazine are black, but I got guys complaining about black, so we do dark gray, and they go, well, I really like black because black hides more. I'm like, I can't win with you guys. I don't know what to do. So, yeah, I'm kind of up the creek with that one. Watercraft Journal, we had one shirt that we ran for years, and that was our real bright, like a turquoise, or a real bright, like a tropical blue, and it was pretty wild colored and stuff. But I think I really want to do like a full tilt retro, like a neon green or a bright yellow shirt. That's just
I like the retro style shirts.
Yeah. And you want to get like the primary shapes, like, the grid triangle, something that looks like Tron, just really, really old school. I have to make, speaking of your retro shirt that you got from who?
John Rawl.
John Rawl, the former media representative for Kawasaki. He's since retired, but he's still the hardest working retired guy I've ever met in my life. He's still flying around. But I was going to say, was I'm wearing I'm wearing a Cowie hoodie, but I shared this with Greg, but I wanted to give a particular shout out. Was I got a private message on Facebook maybe 2 months ago, and it was some guy I never knew, and I was like, oh, who's this? And the guy hits me up and he says, hey, oh, I had his business card. Shoot, what did I do with it? Here it is. Yeah, a guy named Daryl Law, and Daryl Law hits me up and he goes, hey, I'm from Bridgeport. I'm from Bridgeport Jet Ski Sales in Missouri. And I'm like, I've never heard of you.
Yeah.
And I felt bad. I was like, I don't know who you are. But he says, hey, man, I've been watching. He goes, I've been watching you for a long time. He goes, I remember you from PWI. And I remember, the Copperhead build that you did. And the first ski that you ever raced when you were sponsored by Cowie. And he goes, I got some stuff that I pulled out of the archives for you. And I'm going to show everyone here what I got. Number one, he sent me a brand new, dude, this thing's mint. Brand new brochure. Let me get this right. For the 07 250X. This is the full redesign of the 250X supercharged 1.5 liter. All right. This was Kawasaki's answer to the Rotax 215. All right. Because Rotax stayed 215 for another year, and they said, okay, we're not going to play second fiddle, and they came out with the 255, and then like 2 years later, a year later, it was the 260. But there's a centerfold. Get out of here. Check this out. There's a full tilt centerfold in this thing. All right. So he sends me this. And I'm jazzed. I'm like, dude, this is so cool. Because I'm half tempted to go back and find a red 250 and just have a 250. Yeah. But then I open up Victor Sheldon on the freaking SXR 800. And if I'm not mistaken, I think 06 was the first year of the 800. You guys will have to correct me. I want to say it was 06, but I might be wrong. Was the first 800. But anyhow. So he sends me this. This is sitting on the top of the stack. Then I dig a little deeper. 2002, the entire jet ski lineup, including Chris McCluggage, power sliding, the 1200 STXR. All right, because I've been blabbing about this ski nonstop, and it's got all the STXs. It's got the 1100, 900. It even has the Ultra DI 130. I think it's got the full write up on that. Dude, it's absolutely like winding up the clock. Or winding back the clock. It's so old school. Did you remember they had the STS? The stripped down ST and STS.
Yeah.
Dude. Full lineup of everything. All the accessories, all their gear. This is when Kawasaki was just absolutely banging it. All right. But wait, there's more. So included in that was the entire Kawasaki lineup, all the motorcycles. All right. Literally everything. Actually, this is nothing but motorcycles. Dirt bikes. It's got the dirt bikes. It's got all the ninjas. Yeah, dude. And then of course it's got the skis. It's got all the skis in it. So I was floored when he sent me this. Then he sent me all of the dealer. Basically, these were these sheets were basically what all the sales guys got to know the lineup, to immediately learn the lineup. All right, to basically all the talking points. It says Hang tag clarifies STX design focus. Although Kawasaki's new jet ski 1200 STXR watercraft is capable of carrying up to 3 passengers, recent tests have shown that riding with multiple passengers tends to cause excessive porpoising. Really? A hang tag is affixed to the left handlebar during assembly to help dealership personnel clarify to prospective customers that the STXR design focus is race-bred handling characteristics and optimized sporting performance for a single rider results in reduced recreational riding characteristics for 2 or 3 riders. This ski is meant for single riders, dummy. It's fantastic. And this is like the total lineup with all the information on it. Really cool inside baseball stuff. But here's my favorite. Absolutely mint owner's manual STXR watercraft. All this stuff did not come with my purchase of my ski. In fact, I have referenced this owner's manual in just troubleshooting stuff on the ski. Because as soon as I got, as soon as Brian Baldwin, as soon as I bought that STXR, Brian Baldwin messaged me and he goes, "Hey, heads up, the oiling system totally sucks. You're going to want to make sure it's not all gummed up. You're going to want to chase it." And so it was just really cool to go over and check out that kind of stuff. It was really neat.
Yeah.
Speaking of vintage skis, what do you got behind you?
So this was a GP 1300R, but now it has a fully built SVHO with a turbo hanging off the back in the hull.
It's an SVHO swap, so it's a modern conversion.
It started as an SHO, but the SHO and SVHO block is the same, other than the internals. And this has CP pistons, Carrillo rods, aftermarket cams, aftermarket valve train. So it's a 1.8 casting, and everything else has been changed. But yeah, modern conversion.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a beautiful ski. It's I did not build this one. A guy named Bruce that works at Riva actually built this one.
Okay.
It's a work of art.
Okay.
You could eat off the inside of the hull, but somehow it managed to end up in my garage, and I've been tasked with breathing some life back into it. So it hardly runs. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it'll be a fun little project. Not too much work needs to be done. I had to change the injectors out in it. It's going to need a new fuel pump, and then just some tuning from there. I'm sure we'll have to change some things out along the way just because it's been sitting up for so long. But it's definitely a neat ski.
You said it's a turbo conversion?
Yeah. It's got a tiny little HKS turbo in there.
Oh, funny.
Like a little 51 millimeter, I think. So it's probably good for like 450 horsepower, which in this hull, that's 100 plus all day long.
Yeah. It doesn't take much to make those things fly.
Yeah.
Yeah. For you guys who are not familiar, the GPR hull, the previous GPR, the 1200s, 1300s, the GPR hull is one of the from factory slipperiest, fastest in a straight line monster hull designs that came out of a factory mold. It really now it was a pretty good contender out on the closed course, but in the straightaways, it barely had any contact, but it could keep the pump loaded, and it was fast as could be. And it was like around 2005, 2006, the guy started putting the Rotax motors in.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
And that really kind of catapulted Green Hulk into the, Green Hulk was already building and gaining momentum.
I want to say it was 2007 is when my dad did his turbo Seadoo conversion, and at the time was the world's fastest jet ski at only 98.8 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So back then, I mean, that was flying.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, those conversion skis, it sprung, it absolutely birthed a whole new segment of performance enthusiasts. and it made the mud bug into a kind of a street outlaw drag race. I mean,
Yeah.
it was no prep, but yeah, that conversion ski boom really was what kind of catapulted Green Hulk and catapulted the mud bug, and
Yeah.
it just was it was lightning in a bottle for a few years. It was pretty impressive.
Yeah, it was.
So you got a guy for one of the techs at Riva built one, and now it's in your hands, huh?
Yeah, yeah. My best friend actually bought it, so now I have to make it run.
There you go. Great.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's not yours, but
No, the one behind it is. So
yes,
that is my that's my 2021 GP 1800R.
Correct.
Yeah.
And you've got a pair of XPLs, right?
Yeah, I got 2 XPLs. I call them the twins because from the outside they're identical.
They're all stickered up, race prepped. They're all ready.
Yeah. The only difference
you still have
between
mine,
the two,
right?
Yeah, I'm just waiting on you to come get it.
I got to get off my ass and drive down.
Yeah, you need to make a trip to the swamp.
I know. That's my fault. I need to.
Yeah, but
you guys want to join me?
The difference between my two is one set up for pump gas with a less aggressive 2-stroke pipe, and the other one's set up for aviation fuel, more aggressive timing curve, and a more aggressive 2-stroke pipe.
No kidding.
Yeah. So both of them, they're just a ton of fun. If I could pick my hand of any of the skis that I have to go out and ride, it's going to be them.
Okay. All right. And then you've got my Stalker, the 951.
Yeah.
It's also an XPL as well, right? It's a 2000
or
99?
It's an XPL. It's 2000 bone stock. So yeah, I got that one. And then the 325, of course, which has been a fun project.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I have one of these that I've been building a Seadoo conversion ski out of for like literally 3 years now, but I only touch it when I have time to touch it, which is hardly never. Yeah. So one day that'll be together and on the water.
Yeah, that's why every paint shop that their car, the guy who owns the paint shop, his car is like tucked in the back and like 3 layers of primer. It's never gonna happen.
Right.
Yeah. There's an old saying, cobbler's kids go without shoes. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So with the RXPX 325, is there any new developments on that's going on?
Yeah. So Fizzle actually just released their Supercharger for the public. I have not tested that one yet. I will have my hands on that soon to test. Now I am developing my own Supercharger, which unfortunately I did have a shaft failure on it a couple weeks ago. So I do have to go back to the drawing board. I'm probably going to try out the Fizzle reinforced shaft with the front housing and impeller that I have put on it. But that one was making some steam before it blew up, and it's making more boost pressure at a lower intake air temp than anything else that has been put on the market so far. So
with a shaft failure, is that due to insufficient oiling? It's heating up, or
I just don't think the shaft is strong enough to handle the amount of stress being put on the supercharger. So
so
we're talking, yeah, it just broken out.
Okay.
I mean, it's making well over double the boost pressure of a stock one. So it's more stress on it. So a better, stronger shaft design is what's going to be needed, which is no secret. We've been struggling with stock supercharger shafts since the introduction of the 325.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's interesting because I didn't know, when you said there was a shaft failure, I was like, okay, well, what lends itself to a shaft failure? Is it, is it torsional forces? Is it just, strain on the actual shaft itself? Is it hot because of oiling or whatever it might be?
No, I don't think oiling is a problem. I just think it was just too much stress on the shaft itself from the increased airflow that it's moving. So it's unfortunate, but that's part of growing. You know, there are failures at
hot
every
rodding.
step of the way, and you learn from your failures and move on.
Yeah, absolutely. No, absolutely. I think that, I mean, again, it's part of hot rodding. You're on the cutting edge, and you're gonna sit there and you're gonna go, okay, well, you know, this tune didn't work, and this tune, well, we started detonating early, and I hurt some valves, and or whatever it might be.
Yeah, you find the weak link and make it better. It's just part of it. You know, if you
the
fail
nice thing about it,
and don't address it and stick with the failure, then nothing will ever progress. So,
well, yeah, fair enough. I was going to say was the nice thing about it was that you own the process. I mean, you haven't shied away from like, hey, we're working on it and we're making improvements. We refuse to release an inferior product that's not ready to be released to the public. Our name is on it, and so we're gonna make sure this thing is perfect. And a lot of guys run to market with a product that's super inferior, and you sit there and you go, "Are you not paying attention?" I mean, so
yeah. I mean, so I did however many wide open throttle drag race style pulls with it, and it was fantastic. No issues whatsoever. But then I put it on a buoy course, and I don't know, however many hits. I think I had like 50 something hits on it, on off within a 5-minute period, and didn't have the failure there. Take it out again, and it was within 5 minutes of just cruising around and shaft let go. So I think it was the buoy course that initially damaged the shaft. It just happened to let go after the fact. So we'll put a stronger shaft in it and try it again. You know.
There you go. Yeah, and I mean that's the nature of the beast, and good on you for even having the wherewithal to do it and to see you were sharing a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
the numbers coming out of it, and you're like, hey, keep this on the down low, but we're kind of killing everybody. And I was like, all right.
Yeah, I mean, it should, depending on how high you rev it, it'll make well over 30 pounds of boost. So it'll be an animal if it stays together. So we'll try the shaft and then see if it holds up.
Well, I got to give it to you, man. I mean, I know it's a lengthy process. It's an expensive process, but good on you for doing it. I was going to say was while Greg was out there, making inroads and making progress on high performance parts, I can't believe it happened, but they actually flew me down to Mexico about a month and a half ago, and Seadoo allowed me to go through their. I keep mispronouncing it because it's not a Spanish name as it is a Aztec name, but it's Seadoo, Mexico, to their assembly plant. And that was, to be honest, I wasn't really surprised by what I saw. In fact, I was actually expecting more automation than I did. But really, there's very few like actual automated processes that occur in in the assembly process. And for a lot of you guys who don't know what I'm talking about, please go to the Watercraft Journal YouTube channel, and you're going to see a very long form, I think it's like 42 minutes long, tour that we did of the assembly plant. And in that process, I mean, there was a couple of things that I was impressed by. I mean, the automation process is kind of funny because it's like if you asked AI, provide me or illustrate to me or design an automated assembly process, and then tell me where I can shove in as many people as I can without delaying the process or screwing things up. And that being said, it's funny because there's really very few pinch points. And when I say a pinch point in an assembly process is something that, you lose tempo or it slows down the process. You know, something that is a point of failure. And I walked through the whole thing. Now, I will tell you, the main building that we walk into is assembling both the deck and the hull. There's a whole line dedicated to the sparks, and Joe Hill at Classic Jet Skis pretty much just laser focused on just that one part. I'm like, he's only looking at one part, which I thought was funny. But we were able to walk the whole thing, and they were very open about it. The only part we were not allowed to walk was the engine assembly, which, because it's effectively it's a clean room, but it's a large portion that's a clean room. There's big, heavy plastic tarps. They don't want any contaminants in there. They don't want someone throwing a, wad of gum or something like that into it. They just want to keep it controlled, which I understood. But they have a big catwalk that allowed us to walk around it, but I couldn't really film it. The only thing that they said absolutely under no circumstances can you film because of the proprietary process was the hull assembly, or the mold room where they assembled it. And it was all CM Tech. Every Polytech hull, whether it's a Spark, whether it's a GTI, a GTR, a GTRX, even the switches, they all come out of the same molding building, and that is like 3 hours north by tractor trailer. And that plant is it's a heavy polypropylene plastic molding plant, and it's a highly toxic plant because of the process. They don't want anyone breathing it, so a lot of it is automated. But CM Tech is like going into, quite frankly, it's like going into where they make jacuzzis. It's like where they make pre-molded, those showers that are basically a 3-sided shower that just fits into your bathroom. It's exactly that process. Yeah. And they took offense when I said that.
Of course they did.
They got. What was funny was that we had the president of the assembly plant giving us the tour. All right. Mm-hmm. And he was very cool. He was very articulate. He spoke English very well, and his French wasn't great, but like I could tell, I have no idea. I don't speak French. But we were in the assembly plant, and he was too soft spoken, and that's never been a problem for me. And so I'm standing at the front, and he's trying to explain how CM Tech works and how they mold it and how they clamp. They basically take a pre-molded top and a pre-molded bottom, and they sandwich them together, and it fills up with the liquefied fiberglass resin mixture. And it's basically, I don't want to say it's like expansion foam, but it's a liquefied mixture that then is quickly cured, and they pop the molds, and now you have a molded acrylic hull with the CM Tech soft, or the pale yellow fiberglass inside. And there's a group of us of, I want to say probably 12, 14. They can't hear the guy at all. It is so loud in the molds and the presses, and all the hydraulics are making noise. And he kind of looks at the crowd, and they're asking, what was that? What was that? And he looks at me kind of like, did you hear me? I go, I heard you. And I turn around and I just yell everything that he did, but I do it faster and more concise. And it was so funny because we had Melanie Bougeron and a couple of representatives from BRP from Canada, and they burst out laughing. And they go, of course, Kevin Shaw is going to give the tour. So I literally basically gave the tour of how these molds or how these hulls are made. And then once they pop out of the mold, we take it into finishing, where they punch all the holes, for all the cooling lines in the pump and the pump tunnel. And then you have the deck, and okay, here's the filler. Here's the hole for the filler neck, and we literally have to cut the hole out for the engine compartment. We have to cut the hole out for the, center storage, yada yada yada. And it's funny because the laser jet process, it's a laser jet, the water jet process, the water jet process is noisier than the molding process. That jet is screaming, and it blows through, and it goes through the whole thing. And they go in, they sand it, and they sand all the smooth edges, and yada yada yada. And then the deck and the hull separately are taken to the next building, and that's where everything is fitted. I'm watching the whole thing, and I'm looking at it with my dad's engineer's eyes, and I'm looking at it with my brother's fabrication eyes, and I'm looking at it like through my eyes of a guy who's taken these things apart and put them back together again, the old ones at least. And I'm walking through, and I'm like, I've been to Yamaha's plant. I've seen Cowie's process. This is the cleanest process. This is, literally cleanest process. Your white shirt, you could dress up in your Sunday best and work a day shift in this plant. And besides the guys who work in the actual where they run the engine for 30 seconds, 45 seconds, those guys get, they're in like these, laminated aprons because they get blown with water, and they get dirty. No one gets dirty in this damn building. I'm walking around with stains on my jeans, and I'm like, I look like a dirtbag.
Yeah.
So it was really funny. I was like, oh, okay. And what was wild were the comments, and I'm ranting, but I'll let you pop in. I apologize. But the comments were like, oh, Mexican manufacturing. And I go, bro, it's cleaner. That building, I would sooner drop a sandwich and eat it off the floor in the Seadoo plant than I would in the Yamaha one. And I was there with your dad, and you've been to that plant. Oh, yeah. In a heartbeat.
That's impressive. That they're able to do it, that advanced.
You watch the video again. All the concrete, if the concrete floor is not epoxy coated, like with that traction stuff you have in your home garage, if it's not coated there, it's a bright polished concrete which has a sealant on it. Yeah. Everything is brightly lit. You'll never drop a screw because everything it literally loads like a semi-automatic. Almost everything, even the torque wrenches, they literally stick them in and it'll load the socket and it'll go, or the pump will have all of the hardware in it, and so one guy holds the pump that's on a rig, so he's not physically holding it up, and the guy comes in with the torque wrench and goes, and then they recheck them. And everything is and all the torque specs has a Bluetooth computer on the bottom of it. And if you sat there and you went quick and you didn't, actually hit the ugga-duggas, if you didn't hit the actual, the locking arm on the torque, it would literally have a red light and go, it would stop the process going, it's not torqued down.
Yeah. Interesting. That's really interesting.
So I give Seadoo all the credit in the world that really my opinion is, and this is probably going to piss off some people, but my opinion is that many, I'm not going to say all, but many of the loose hardware complaints or misalignment complaints or things like that, I really want to aim towards old processes that hadn't been streamlined, like I would say pre-COVID, because during COVID, they shut down and they brought a bunch of eggheads in and said, how do we make this idiot proof?
Yeah.
If we brought a bunch of fifth graders in here and said, build a Seadoo, how could we ensure that these fifth graders didn't screw this up? Yeah. And that's not saying anything negative about the workers. That's saying the process is incredibly streamlined. And the process is incredibly clean. And I would then err on the side of once the ski is uncrated, what that dealership's service department's doing.
Yeah, interesting.
And
Well,
because I've been to all three now.
so I've uncrated a ski with the dealer, and
Yeah.
literally all they do is put the steering on, and that's it. Everything else is assembled. They put the steering column in it. They don't even put oil in it. It already has oil in it. They put the steering column in it, plug it in the computer, and make sure it has the right software or whatever, and start it. And that's it.
Right.
So,
but see, that is a big jump from what it used to be.
yeah.
You know, dealers were putting pumps in. Dealers were putting, you know, ride
No,
plates.
it's all assembled. It completely assembled. Put the steering column in and go.
Yeah.
So I was surprised to see that because I thought there was more involved. I was surprised that they even shipped with the oil. You know.
Yeah.
I thought for sure that the dealer would be the final, fill it up with oil, because I didn't think they could come across the border with oil and ship it that way.
Exactly. I was wrong. I said that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it all comes from the factory that way.
So your Rotax engines are coming overfilled with oil from the factory.
Yeah. Straight from Mexico.
Yeah. Well, the engines, they are, because they were doing Can-Am motors and they were doing Rotax, they were doing Ace motors. There was something else. Yeah, that's interesting. Because I was under the same impression that they could not ship with any coolant or any oil in it. But I was the only person in that whole tour who was mesmerized by how quickly they filled the cooling system. And if you guys watch the video, what they do is that they have the whole cooling system's assembled. And they basically put a nozzle on the tank, on the overflow tank or the fill tank, what do you want to call it. And what it does first is that it draws vacuum. It has negative atmosphere in it. It's literally negative. I mean, you can literally see the hoses start to crush.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, I'm watching this, and I'm like, and it was so funny because everyone else had left. And I'm like, wait a minute, watch this. And all of a sudden it goes boom, and it makes like a flushing toilet sound. It goes barouche. And I'm not this is going to date me, but Married to Children, Al Bundy had a big thing. He wanted to build his own bathroom when he had he wanted the toilets from like the Parks and Rec department of Illinois, the ones that rip your arm off, because they never get clogged. So he's like, I want that kind of water pressure, and he built a bathroom in his garage that had whoosh. Just anyway, but you hear that, and it in that negative, that whole cooling circuit through the engine block, through the whole thing, and then it force feeds that coolant in there, and it does it within 5 seconds. You can count it off. It's like 5 to 7 seconds. It just goes. It just go 1, 2. Once you hear the flush sound, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Guy pulls it, puts cap on, it's done. And you're like,
wow.
Hold on a second. Because if you were to do that with any Seadoo outside, any ski that you've got that you're servicing, and you had a bone dry system, and you're sitting there with Rotax coolant trying to fill it up, you'd be there for a minute and a half, and then you have to burn. Right. And you have to run the engine, get the air pockets out of the heads, and get the air pockets out of the whole engine, and you sit there and you're like, oh my gosh, this sucks. This thing absolutely knocks it out. And I was like, and it was so funny because my video was the only one that looked at that.
Yeah, that's really neat.
So again, I got to give credit where credit's due on Seadoo. There's things I disagree with. There's assembly processes that they're well done, but the material itself, I'm not in love with. I think the acrylic would be fine for a. I don't even want to say acrylic would be fine for a deck because I know it stains. You spill gas on the acrylic, you get a discolored white streak on it.
Yeah.
And a lot of the plastics discolor even in the sun, and
Yeah.
they fade.
They don't have to be in the sun long. You could
No.
leave the ski in your garage, and just from riding one summer, just being out every weekend or every other weekend, the plastics will fade.
Yeah.
So it's kind of disappointing.
It is. I mean, and it's funny because I had the conversation. I was like, guys, we seem to have made steps backwards. And they were looking at me like, oh, no, no, no. I go, yeah, you've made steps backwards, but I understand the reasoning. I didn't come at them hot and be like, you're screwing up and you suck and you guys. That was never my tone. And it was funny because they looked at me like, Kevin is different than we expected in person. Because they thought I was going to be a hot poker just yelling at them. And instead I was just like, listen, this is, like the plastics. Okay, plastic hoods, plastic fairings, plastic, all this stuff. The plastics tend to oil can. Now, Seadoo, in my opinion, do not rattle as much as a Yamaha. I think Yamahas rattle a lot.
Yeah.
But my concern was, I said, I understand that you went to these materials because the goal is to keep weight down. I get it. You got to keep weight down. You'll get, you get more performance, you get better results with lower weight. I get it. But at the cost of what? At fit and finish, at the cost of rattling and feeling cheap, at the cost of discoloring plastics and discoloring materials. You kind of have to pick the devil you want to sleep with on this one.
Yeah. Yeah. None of them are perfect. They all have their flaws.
No. Or it's like Kawasaki. Kawasaki's, I loved going up and putting a microphone up against those gold doors and closing the doors, and it sounds like a Cadillac car door. I go, hey, that's great. By the way, the ski weighs 1,160 pounds. So, I mean, again, they're like, well, we didn't want it to oil can. We didn't want it to rattle. We didn't want chatter. Good. But that comes at the cost of weight, So, what are you going to do? Now, all that being said, this is what I'm teeing up for, and we're 43 minutes into this. I'm the worst. I sat down with basically the vice president of brand strategy for Seadoo. His name was Christian, French-Canadian guy, very nice. He is James Hines' right-hand man. We've had James on the show. Greg has met James. I've done plenty of time with James. James is a very busy guy. James is, I would say he's the guy spinning all the plates on the Ed Sullivan show. He's doing this. So Christian sits down with me, and he said, my job is basically to sit down with all you influencers and ask you guys, what are we missing? What are we doing wrong? And Joe Hill from Classic Jet Skis took that very personally.
Yeah.
And he was like, all right. And he just hit him with the fire hose. And Josh Dowling from Watercraft Zone was there from Australia. It was kind of the International House of Pancakes on this ride. We had Goofy Me, which you guys know me. They had like I said, Josh Dowling from Australia. They had Joe Hill from the UK. They had Aqua Dan, who's their influencer, who looks like Aquaman, and he's got the long hair and tattoos, and he's from Brazil. And he's a Brazilian who doesn't like spicy Mexican food. And I'm like, you soft little weasel, you weenie. They took us to really knock my socks off Mexican food restaurants. It was an open air. It was quite literally a Catholic mission that had been converted into a 5-star restaurant. And these guys bitched and moaned. Oh, it's spicy. Oh, it's got peppers in it. Oh, I don't like onion. And I'm sitting next to the two locals. They're Mexican. You know, the girl. When I say Mexican, I'm not being mean. We're in Mexico. I'm the gringo. I'm the one sticking out. So I'm sitting next to two Mexican girls, and then I've got Tim Olson, who's the media rep. Tim Olson, who's married to a Mexican girl. I don't like spicy food. I'm like, what the hell? I literally turned to them. I said, order whatever you want for the table. Don't make me pick. So we had big family style eating. And I watched people with their forks just poke. What's that? What's that green thing? I was like sitting around with a bunch of 5-year-olds. Do you have any chicken nuggets and French fries? I was like, oh, geez. It's like Joe Hill sitting next to me. I go, hey, do you have any warm beer? They don't like cold beer. Can you give them warm beer? And they start laughing. And I was like, oh my gosh, you guys. Can we put some mayonnaise on it? He'd like some mayonnaise. It was embarrassing. Anyway, I'm on a tangent. But so anyway, I sit down with Christian. And I know, it is not a private conversation. I am at a private table with Christian, but everyone is listening. Like, oh no, what's Kevin going to say?
Yeah.
And I sat there, and I wanted to share this with everyone here. And I wanted to share it with you, Greg. All right? My understanding is that for the year 2025, the total new units sold was, I've been told, because these are numbers that are private numbers, they're shared strictly within all three manufacturers. They do not let it out. So my source for these numbers is no longer available to me. So I have to poke around through back doors and try to get these numbers. The number I've heard is anywhere between 36,000 and 42,000 new units sold for the entire world in 2025.
Yeah.
So 36 to 42. So let's say round number 40,000 units, just to keep it a round arithmetic number. Well, I have a friend of mine who I've known for far too long. And he's got a college buddy who has saved my ass before because his college buddy works for Facebook corporate. And back in like 2014, I very stupidly thought, I very stupidly answered an email saying your Facebook account's been hacked. Please re-log into your account and do a security check. Well, I did it with the link in the email, which was a fake link, and they immediately stole my email. And they changed my whole profile to the ISIS flag. And I was immediately flagged and taken down. Well, my Facebook account was also the Facebook account that I managed the Watercraft Journal, the Facebook account. It was the Instagram Facebook account for Watercraft Journal. It was it was catastrophic. Well, so I reached out to my buddy Mark, and I go, Mark, or I had panicked and put up something on another account, or I had my friend put up I reached out to my wife and said, hey, everyone, Kevin's account's been hacked, blah, blah, blah. Mark texts me and he goes, hey, I have a friend who works for Facebook. I go, are you serious? He goes, yeah. He goes, let me see what I can do. Well, within a week and a half, he completely restored my account. And he was like, "Okay, dummy, never answer another email like that." I go, "Yes, sir." But he was very, very cool. But he was obviously very annoyed that he was being asked to do this favor for a moron that he didn't know. Well, it just so happens, and this is just to give you backstory, that the guy was legit. Sorry, I had a text come in. Mark hits me up and he goes, "Hey, so I was on the phone with my buddy who works at Facebook." And I said, "Oh, okay, cool. You know, what's up?" And he says, he's basically the president of Marketplace. I'm like, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah, he pretty much is over Facebook Marketplace." I was like, "Wow, okay, that's a hell of a job." And he goes, yeah, it's a big deal. And he said, just in conversation, he said, "I can pretty much do an analytics search of anything on Marketplace. We record everything." And I'm like, "That sounds like Facebook. You know, it sounds like, Big Brother listening. Big Brother's watching." And he said, and Mark goes, "Hey, do me a favor. Look up how many listings for used jet skis. Used vintage or used jet skis." And he goes, "Oh, okay." And he goes, "Well, what do you want to know?" He goes, "Well, how many sold?" And he goes, "Well, I've got 100." He goes, "I have over 150,000 sales or marked sold, not because of Marketplace. I've sold stuff on Marketplace and not said I sold it because of Marketplace." So
right.
It's kind of a blurry, the edges are blurry, but you kind of look in the middle. And basically the number is 150,000 units sold last year.
Yeah.
And he got all excited and was like, dude, I have to call Kevin. So he calls me up and he goes, "You're not going to believe this." And I go, "What?" And he goes, "Do you know how many new units sold last year?" And I go, "I heard it's something like, I heard at the time I said 35, but I was wrong." And he goes, "Facebook sold 150,000 vintage skis last year."
Mm-hmm.
And I sat there and I went, and this was months ago. This is before my trip. So I sat down with Seadoo and I go, "Guys, the demand isn't gone away. The audience hasn't gone away.
Right.
The market hasn't dried up. You're selling the wrong product."
Yeah.
And he looked at me, Christian looked at me and he goes, "Well, what do you mean?" And I go, "Number one platform for Seadoo, ST3, right?" He goes, "Oh yeah, we have 11 units based on the ST3. I go, "What's the average price of any Seadoo based upon an ST3? If you were to go from top tier, trophy, Apex, 300, 325 limited, all the way down to the 170 GTX, and you were to average that price, what would it be?" He goes, "Oh, Kevin, I don't know. Maybe 17,000, maybe 18,000. I go, right. And I go, were you around when the Spark was selling from like 14, like really selling 14 to 18? And he's like, "Oh, I've seen those numbers." I go, "What does that tell you?"
Yeah.
It tells you that market segment, that buyer segment has not vanished. You left.
Yeah.
You left because you went for an easy buck. You went to the baby boomer who's going to pay $20,000 for a unit, and you're not going to have to finance it. You're not going to have to do a credit check. You're not going to have to chase the guy to, hey, you're 4 months overdue.
Yeah.
All right. It's very easy to sell to a 65-year-old or a 60-year-old and his old lady, a Fish Pro or a Explorer Pro or a GTX 300 or whatever the hell you sell to them. I go, that's an easy sale. And then, of course, you got every guy who wants the 325, but he goes, "Well, I'm not a sporty rider because I weigh 280 pounds, so I'm going to buy the RXTX because that's a nice smooth ride, and I don't have to bend over to grab stuff out of my storage unit or my storage compartment. So he buys the RXTX 325, and then he goes and gets it tuned, and now he can go 85, and he can beat his friend for 12 seconds in a straight shot. And I start laughing, and I go, but meanwhile, you've got this glut, this giant, like, vibrating volcano ready to pop of young men, because that's who's buying these vintage units, willing and ready to buy a unit, buy a product from you, but you're not selling the product.
Yeah.
And he kind of went, huh? And I sent him the emails, and I sent him the information. I go, I don't think Seadoo has done its due diligence. I don't think Kawasaki's done its due diligence. I don't think Yamaha's done its due diligence. I think all three of them are sniffing their own farts. Yeah. I think they're like, we're doing great. The reviews are high. The reviews are glowing. You know, we're making cash money, blah, blah, blah. And my words to Christian, my first words to him, and this is what I'm gonna hand it off to you because I've been talking for 20 minutes straight. And I apologize. I said, your problem is that you're not planting any seeds. I go, you are not planting seeds for trees whose shade you will never live to enjoy. I go, if we continue on this path, this industry dies in less than 10 years. With the baby boomers, they're aging out right now, and they're feeling it. It's a precipitous drop in sales. It's precipitous, all right? And guess what? Seadoo ain't coming out with a 350 anytime soon, all right? Cowie ain't coming out with a 330 or a 350 horsepower engine.
Yeah.
All right. The only one that's on deck is the new SVHO 9-liter, and it might be 27, if not 28. I heard 27, but I'm not banking any money on it because they're like, we're still sitting on a bunch of 20, still sitting on a bunch of 1.8 liter SVHOs. Mm-hmm. So I look at it and I go, stop trying to sell to guys older than me. Don't even sell to guys my age. Sell to guys Greg's age.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, obviously you got to plant the seed because, you know, and they'll be customers for life. That's 40 something years maybe of guaranteed sales. So I think that's very important. But the used market is booming. I know just firsthand from skis that I work on, I might have done a handful of actual brand new skis within the last year. The rest of them, they're coming from Marketplace. You know, even GPs. I've got a lot of friends that have new GPs or new Seadoos, newer GPs and Seadoos, but they buy them used a couple years old just because they get a good deal on them. You know, they don't want to go buy and spend the new prices. So, yeah, it's
if you and I were going, well, sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you. I was just
brand new skis. The price is just unreal. Like, I'm not going to pay a brand new ski price unless I absolutely had to have that brand new ski. When you can get the same thing on Marketplace for $5,000 less, in some cases $10,000 less. I actually have a friend that just bought a 2019 GP 1800R SVHO maybe 2 weeks ago. All it needed was one of the resonators on the exhaust. It's $20 part. Right. Paid $4,000 for it.
For a 19, a 19 GP 1800R.
Yeah, paid $4,000. Needed an exhaust resonator. That was it. The rest of the ski is great. Dude. So it's like stuff like that. Why go buy a new one when you can get stuff like that? You know.
And so to pay you to do it, he's going to have a total of what, $5,500 into getting that ski completely ready to ride?
No, like it would take me 5 minutes to put that on. I wouldn't even charge anything.
But I mean, if he had come to you and said, fully service this ski, get it ready for the water, you'd be like, okay, here's my checklist.
Yeah. Maybe another $500, you know,
There you go.
if there was nothing else genuinely wrong with it.
Right.
Just service it, put the resonator on, and water test, you know, something like that. It'd be ridiculously cheap.
Yeah. For less than $5,000, you're getting the dude. 2019, the GP 1800R SVHO was Watercraft of the Year from the Watercraft.
Yeah. Yeah.
One of the winningest closed course skis. One of the fastest inline, you know, just straight line.
Yeah.
Boats. A genuine joy to ride. I literally, I know it's Nano 2, and everyone bitches about Nano 2 and boo-hoo-hoo.
The same guy bought a 2017 GP somewhere around last summer, Reva Stage 3 kit on it with the trailer, beautiful clean ski. He paid $9,000 for that. Ran almost 90 miles an hour.
Wow.
So he ended up going turbo on that ski. So pulled all his other Stage 3 parts off and put it on the $4,000 ski. So now he's got high 80-mile-an-hour GP with next to nothing in it and a turbo GP. So
killer.
It's marketplace is where it's at.
Yeah. No, honestly. And I mean, I don't want to, I really don't want to take the wind out of the sails for the dealerships, but guys, the product, I mean, okay, $4,000 for a ski that needs $500 worth of service.
Yeah.
That to me is, I mean, that's a rare deal.
Very rare deal. Yeah. You don't find that often.
No. Because, I mean, I was looking at, like, just for fun, I was looking at a naturally aspirated LX Ultra to put a turbo kit on, and I wasn't finding a clean one with low hours for less than $6,000. But maybe I'm being a little more picky. But then again, I'm not in Florida, and I don't live on the coastline, and maybe I need to expand my search to 500 miles instead of 50 miles. But to that point, it was funny because I admitted this. I said, what's funny is not only is there 150,000 guys out there buying these skis, they're not looking at the Watercraft Journal.
Yeah.
They're not coming to me. We're not doing any vintage tech. We're not. Yeah. I offer them nothing. Yeah. I mean, it's like, well, they don't care about industry news. They're outside of the industry. They don't care about what the the IGSBA or what any of the racing. They're not interested in racing. They're interested in what started this, and that was dicking around with their buddies on a lake and just having a good time. And the product itself, I mean, and don't get me wrong, I'm laughing because I'm playing with like the very end of the two-stroke years.
Yeah.
That's not, when my brother who's 7 years older than I am, so he's 55, he goes, Kevin, when I hear you say vintage skis, I'm thinking a 550 from 1989.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's kind of a shame that we're referring to late 90s, early 2000s as vintage stuff. But I guess it could be classified as that now. It's
well, yeah. But I mean, look at it with like cars and hot rods. It was like, okay, 32 Ford. Yeah. Everyone wanted a 32 Deuce Coupe. Okay, great. Then everyone had a 55, 56, 57 Chevy, shoebox Chevy. Then you get into the muscle car years, 1966, all the 72. But then you start getting to these kids who are like, well, I want like an 80s G body or an 80s Fox body. And you're like,
yeah.
Ugh. But then you're like, oh, hey, listen, an LX notchback Mustang Fox body was a hell of a platform for drag racing. And you can make a 302 into a 351 in a heartbeat. And now all the parts are available for the G bodies. If you want to build a Monte Carlo or a Grand National, okay, great. But it's funny because it's like guys are going, oh, I want a vintage truck. Okay, what are you going to get? Yeah, I'm going to get like a 91 Chevy 1500. I'm like, that's a vintage truck? Holy crap, I'm old. But I was in high school.
Yeah.
So, but it's all relative. It's all relative.
Mhm.
So my thinking is, I had a great conversation over the weekend. I was at a trade show for the car magazine, and there is something happening with car guys, young car guys, younger car guys, and you can probably attest to this, is there is a very vociferous pushback where they don't want fuel injection. They don't even want, electronic ignition. They want points
Yeah.
ignition. They want carburetors. They want clutch fans. They want, they want completely analog old cars. And
Yeah.
and it's growing, and it's growing so fast that the aftermarket is not able to keep up, because they've allowed brands like Mallory, and they've allowed brands, well, Holly, Holly always makes carburetors, but Holly's really pushing EFI. Well, guys are
Yeah.
going back, hey, I want a 650 double bumper. Do you make a Brawler, do you make a Brawler, 600 or, whatever? And, guys are looking for old Wyand intake manifolds. And you're like, who the hell am I talking to? Oh, hey, I'm 24 and I'm building a C10 truck or whatever the hell they're building. And it's fascinating. Well, I started talking to these guys. And when I started talking to them, I said, well, what gives? Explain to me. And these guys go, I spend all day on a computer. The last thing I want to do is go into my garage and plug a laptop into my classic car.
Yeah.
And I went, I get it. I get it. And it's fascinating. It's fascinating. Now, I will tell you this is my Dodge Charger, EFI, fuel, high pressure fuel pump, digital fans, temp controlled, yada, yada, yada. I built it like a Gen Xer would. But for you guys who are on my personal Facebook page, friends with me, I built a 70 Fury convertible just for shits and giggles. And it is 100% analog. It is 100% analog. The only thing that is remotely high tech about that thing is there's a company out of Florida called Antique Automobile Radio. And they take the faces of old radios and they put digital radios in there that can Bluetooth connect to your phone. That is the only that, and I have a USB port instead of a cigarette lighter. That's it. Carbureted, mechanical fuel pump, mechanical regulator, mechanical fan. Everything about it is mechanical. And I have done roadside. I've only had to do 2 roadside fixes in my life, and one time was totally my fault. I blame myself. It was not a mechanical failure. It was a mechanic failure. And it was just But I sat there working on this thing in a parking lot of an O'Reilly's, and I went, I get it. Because I remember being on a beach, pulling the plugs out of a 2-stroke, spraying WD-40 down it, and then carb cleaner, turning it on its side and cranking it and going foot. Okay, it's dry.
Yeah.
Throw the plugs in it, dry them off with a towel, fire it up. Okay, let's go.
Yeah.
I'm like, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
I don't know. I will never have carbureted vehicles. Like, I just can't do it. Like, I drink the EFI Kool-Aid. I could not do it. But
you need an older Corvette.
The older Corvettes are EFI. Both of them. Both.
I know yours are.
9. Yeah, they're old. They were carbureted at one point, but they're EFI. But I guess it's I don't classify myself as a tuner, but I tune all my cars and jet skis on the laptop and whatever. I do it all myself. But I guess it's that in me that's like EFI is so much better, not even comparable.
Oh, I agree.
My Corvette runs on E85, which if you don't know, it's like incredibly hard to start because it's especially when cold, because the alcohol in it just doesn't want to ignite. But it could be 32 degrees outside and it starts right up, and you're not going to do that on a carburetor. So It's the amount of control you have with EFI. I couldn't do it.
Well, I live in Tennessee, and there's never been I've never lived anywhere more schizophrenic with the weather.
Yeah.
And with a high compression, I got 11.6 to 1 compression on the Charger.
Yeah.
And a high compression, big stroke motor, I could not, and with just the randomness of the weather, I couldn't keep a carburetor happy. And the only thing, I had two options: either put a Dominator on there and just run that son of a bitch pig rich all the time, big 1050 on it, just going, rah! Just the angular is just rah! Just dumping on it, or go EFI. And I had a friend of mine who he's currently the president of Edelbrock now, Chris Douglas. He sent me a comment on Facebook, and he's like, "You give up?" And I'm like, "Yeah, all right." That was the first time I ever did EFI on my own car, and I was like, "All right." So I get it. I get it.
You need to go for a Corvette ride. So I got the 427 cubic inch, 11-to-1 compression, runs an E85, and I'm shoving a little over 15 pounds of boost down its throat. So,
you got a Pro Charged?
Yeah, it's a Vortex supercharger, but same thing. It's a centrifugal blower. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So,
did your dad get the ZR1?
Yeah, he did, and of course we already started modifying that. Can't leave anything alone.
Okay.
He got a CT5V Blackwing. I think he had it 2 weeks, and I ripped the stock supercharger off of that and put a big Magnuson 2650 on it. That car is making around 800 at the crank. So, yeah, that car is a lot of fun. I got videos of all of this. I've got like 5 or 6 videos. I just need to finish editing and publish. So,
right.
Well, y'all will be seeing this. We've been having fun with the cars. So.
That's funny. Now, now, I don't know my modern Chevrolets. Is it the LT5?
In the ZR1, yeah.
In the ZR1 is the LT5.
Yeah. The Cadillac is the LT4.
Now, the LT4 is not a direct port injection, is it?
The LT4 is direct injection. The LT5 is combination direct injection and port injection.
That's right. Okay, it's got 16 injectors.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's interesting. Because he took me out in his C8 last time I was down there. And that was just a Z06, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Z06. So he traded that car in on his C7 ZR1.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, he took me around that hairpin, before you get to
Dawn. Yeah.
And I think he took it at like 65, which is like a 25-mile-an-hour turn or a 15-mile-an-hour turn.
Yeah.
It was retarded.
So I tried to put the supercharger on his Cadillac. I took him for a ride in it, but I disabled the traction control and stability control. I disabled everything. So it was getting really loose, and he was freaking out. He's like, "Thank God for active handling." I said, No, that's all off. Like, this is just me. I can't drive with the traction control. Like, my car is permanently disabled. So it's yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I've got, if I need to go to the grocery store, I've got the family car. My wife can drive the family car. I have too much fun. I have more fun driving. I'm going to say this. I can't believe I'm going to say it publicly, but I have more fun driving that Fury with the top down.
Yeah.
Than I have in years with my Charger. I mean, I drag race my Charger, drove my Charger on a power tour. I mean, don't get me wrong. I get daylight underneath the front wheels of that Charger, but farting around in that 500 horse Fury with the top down, I get more attention. I get more thumbs up. Little lady, black guys, everybody loves that car.
Yeah,
it is the craziest thing.
So all these cars, like, they're all my dad's cars. I don't want y'all to think, I'm some loaded guy, got this and that, because I'm not. I have my one Corvette, and then the only other vehicle that I own is a beat up Humvee that I bought from the military, from a
I
military
saw.
auction.
You had the doors off, and you had
yeah. Well, it doesn't have any doors. I don't have any doors for it.
Oh, you don't have any doors.
No, but I have the most fun driving the Humvee out of every vehicle that I have access to, and that gets the most attention of them all.
Oh,
I
yeah.
cannot go anywhere without getting stopped. Kids love it. They're like, I go down the road, they're pointing, it's an army truck, and it's so much fun. So
that's a blast.
I daily drive the Humvee.
You know what? I think this is kind of the takeaway for today is life is too short to drive boring cars
and jet skis.
And jet skis.
Yeah.
Is find something that really blows wind up your skirt. And it doesn't mean it has to be the fastest thing. Doesn't mean it has to be. I mean, I'm this weirdo who fell in love with a ski from 25 years ago. And I said, one day, I did Wayne's World. I did the one day. Oh yes, she'll be mine. And it was like, I wanted that ski. I saw that ski come out and I was like, oh no, what is that? And it lingered with me. It's the same thing with the first hardtop Vipers, the first GTS Vipers in 96. When the first GTS Vipers came out, the first Vipers didn't do much for me. But when the hardtop came out and it was in the Daytona livery, I went, oh, okay. I don't think I'll ever own a Viper, and I don't think I've driven Gen 1. I've driven actually every generation of Viper, and I don't fit in them comfortably.
Really? I've never seen a Viper in person.
Oh, no kidding. Oh.
No.
You ever seen one in person?
Never seen one in person.
No kidding.
I think they're beautiful. So I love the Gen 3 Vipers, but those look very similar to the C6 Corvette, which is a Corvette that I have, and I just love the look of them.
Okay.
So
okay.
One day I will have a Gen 3 Viper. Never seen one. I just love the look, screaming V10. So one day, Yeah.
I have a friend of mine named Chuck. He's up in Louisiana. He and his son have the last year of Viper, which was 16 or 17. I want to say 16. It might be 17. And it's kind of a pale orange. It's kind of a tangerine orange. And it's not an ACR, which it was surprising because it looks like an ACR, but it's a track attack, a TA with the carbon package, which is effectively everything an ACR is without the price tag of an ACR. Powertrain, brakes, aero package, everything except that it's got this really cool orange, and it has a TA on the it has a TA on the, I think it's right there behind the front wheels, and I think it's also on the wing.
Okay.
And, it is Watercraft Journal just got a new advertiser, Shoredocker.com. Shoredocker.com. What does Shoredocker.com do? I should pull that up. Oh, they're the ones who do the docks that there's some of them are wood, some of them are aluminum, and it's like a ramp on a shoreline, and it's got like a trailer winch on it, and it pulls up. Hey, listen, they're going to support the magazine. I want to give them a shout out. Let's look up Shoredocker.com. Open that up. I'm going to share my window. Do it yourself boat ramps. Okay. Sorry, this is gratuitous, but they're supporting the magazine, so I want to support us. Share screen. Boy, it's been a while since I've done this. Window. Shoredocker. And then Greg, you have one more thing to share that you've been working on, and I need to give credit.
Yeah.
But let me pull up this page real quick. This is shoredocker.com. Here they go. Roll-in premium ramp systems. Oh, yeah. I've seen these things. I've seen them at little rental outfits. You know, if you're like on a little lake or a little pond or something like that.
Oh, that's neat.
Well, what's cool about it is that it's portable. It's not a permanent fixture. You know, those you know, roto molded plastic ones that like are on like, you know, a community dock or, you know, in front of a restaurant. Those are cool and all, but this guy you can literally load up and put in the bed of your truck.
Yeah.
Roll and go premium small boat ramp system. Jet ski. Look at this guy's a little dude. That's great. $1,000. It's got all the premium. It's got all the rollers. Oh, it's the solid rollers. It's not those cheap freaking the hard plastic ones, but it's the rubberized rollers. You've seen those. They're almost like a heavy duty caster. Okay, that's a regular trailer winch. Come on, I want to see fabrication. I want to see. Yeah, see, that's a neat little. You can put that in the bed of your truck. Take that anywhere. Come on, get me in close. It can all be disassembled. Look at that. Oh my gosh, that's a big picture. Okay. Yeah, it comes apart. Looks like stainless hardware. That's a neat piece. All right, guys. Go check out shoredocker.com. Tell them you saw them on the Watercraft Journal. All right. Let me bounce out of this. Greg, you got something else you're working on.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really cool. Let me see if I can't put the picture or share. Oh, I can't share because it's not a PDF. But
yeah, so that's why I showed on my phone. But
it's okay.
So it's no secret that like Yamahas cavitate really bad. If you compare that to Seadoo, the Seadoo is going to out whole shot a Yamaha every time. The more mods you put on a Yamaha, the more they cavitate. It's been a terrible problem. So like the Lucky 13 code helps a lot to reduce it, but no matter what you do, it never really seems to go away. So I wanted to make a pump that will help the Yamaha whole shot, keep the mid-range and top speed, but really get out of the water quickly. So I designed this pump probably the middle of last year, towards the end of last year, and I've just been waiting on the machine shop to finish it, and it's finally almost done for testing. So what I've done is I've increased the stator size of this pump. The factory Yamaha pump uses a 160 millimeter impeller with a 155 millimeter stator section. So this is a true 160 millimeter pump, impeller and stator. 10 vein versus 8 vein pump. But the big thing is I increased the size of the hub. So the majority of aftermarket pumps that you buy, like the Solus race pump, it's a standard size hub, which is very small. If you look at like a Seadoo hub versus a Yamaha hub, the Seadoo is so much bigger. So this pump will have its own pump cone to accommodate that. So the goal here is to really jump out of the water quickly. Overall performance will be better. Now, another cool thing about this pump is it's the only aftermarket pump that you could buy that uses the new style replaceable wear ring liner.
Okay.
Yeah. All of the other aftermarket pumps are the old style where you have a separate wear ring housing. You can't replace the wear ring on that. So wear ring replacements become extremely expensive. And then you have the galvanic corrosion issue with the stainless steel liner that's pressed into an aluminum housing.
Right. Yeah. Just similar metals.
Right. So over time, you'll have galvanic corrosion between the wear ring and the housing. It'll shrink it and grab the impeller and really hurt performance of your ski. So by utilizing the new style wear ring that is on the Yamahas, there is a plastic coating between the wear ring and the housing, along with two O-rings. So there's no chance in hell of galvanic corrosion. So let me pull up this picture of the pump. So it's not fully done being machined just yet, but we are almost there. And I think it's like a work of art. I'm really excited to test it out and see what it does. Spent a lot of time designing it, a lot of thought behind it. So getting that on the water and seeing exactly how it performs will be really neat.
Yeah, that's impressive. And that's something that you don't see a lot of people
No,
taking.
I mean, it's not going to be a cheap part because it's all made out of billet, but
Right.
I can almost guarantee that it's worth the cost. If it should allow the Yamaha to whole shot like a Seadoo, which would be a total game changer. You know, like a good comparison would be, there we go. So like if you look at the Hydra drags, Ernesto Callas, I'm sure all you guys have seen his videos. He races the spec class against Yamahas that have a much higher top speed than the Sea-Doo that he's racing, but he wins every single year because the Sea-Doo can actually get off the bunk and launch. Just out hole shots it because it doesn't really cavitate like the Yamahas do. Yeah. So if we can make a pump that allows the Yamaha to whole shot more similar to a Sea-Doo, I think that would be amazing. You know, a real big game changer there.
So, in talking about the hub, what parts are you going to use?
So it'll internally, it's identical to the stock Yamaha pump.
Okay.
So it'll take the Yamaha bearing, shaft, and seals, but the external dimension of the hub is much larger. So I don't know if I have any parts to show, but I don't want to put numbers out there of how big it is just yet.
Right.
But you know, the factory hub is probably like that big, and this one is like that. So it should help a lot with the whole shot.
Now, you said this is going to have its own unique cone, or it's going to use the Lucky cone?
It'll have its own version of the Lucky 13 pump cone. So it's it won't use a Sea-Doo pump cone, but it can't use a Yamaha pump cone because of the larger diameter. It just won't fit. So it'll have a 5-degree angled pump cone to match the nozzle.
Okay.
Yeah. So that'll be really neat.
Well, that's bitching, man. That is some innovation coming out of you. It's impressive.
Yeah.
We've got 3 super chats, 2 from Stuart, and Stuart's actually been a big supporter, and Leroy for that matter. So let's bring these guys in. Let's acknowledge them just for now, and then we'll say goodbye because it's already an hour and a half. We got support from Leroy. Thank you, Leroy. We got a super sticker from Stuart. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the support. Stuart also wrote, have to say my favorite small hull ski engine swap I've seen on Greenhook Forum was a Seadoo RXP 215 engine and a Polaris MSX 150. That's unique. I never laid hands on a Polaris. I believe it or not, I never rode one. I just never got hands on them.
Yeah, no, I've never been on a Polaris.
I'll tell you what, back in 2019, I had one of the boating magazine contributors, a guy named Charles Pluterman. Charles and I were on a media event for Seadoo, and apparently the story goes that Charles has a small cabin on a lake way up in Minnesota or Wisconsin. I think it's Minnesota. And he says, it turns out that where my cabin is just right up around the corner from a testing center for Polaris. And I said, really? And he goes, oh, yeah. He goes, I've seen those guys out there on a jet ski that I don't recognize. This is back in 2019. And I go, well, they're out there riding jet skis? And he goes, oh, yeah. He goes, and they're not riding other people's stuff. It's a unique ski. And he goes, I went and sat on my porch and, zoomed in and looked at it through a camera lens. And he's like, I don't know what the hell this thing is. And he said it just so happened that he talked to one of his buddies who works for Polaris. And he goes, oh, yeah, we've got working prototypes. We were just hoping for the market to improve. And unfortunately, by the time that they were ready to launch something, COVID hit. And it was not a good time. And so that thing is still sitting on a shelf. But Polaris apparently was working on a prototype. They wanted to get back into the four-stroke game, or at least the watercraft. All right, so Leroy writes, this is our last one. Just picked up 2 2007 FX 140 cruisers with 120 hours. What are your thoughts on the old MR1 engines, the old Marine motors? Anything particular I should look out for? Those are effectively the Chrysler Slant 6, the GM Blue Dart, the Ford Inline 300, Inline 6 of the watercraft industry. The MR1s lasted. There's a reason why the VX 1100 still ran the MR1 for as long as it did. Mm-hmm. They're dinosaurs, but hell, SBT is repopping MR1s, for goodness sakes. Yeah. MR1s are a small block Chevy. You could build a small block Chevy and leave a red rag in it and it'll still run. So I didn't do it, but I've seen it. You'll probably be able to. Don't get me wrong, you're not going to set your hair on fire riding it, but she'll treat you good. They'll fire up when you want it to. So that's good news. All right, guys. Well, I think that is a good start to picking this up again. I think we need to get back in the habit. We appreciate all the super chats. We appreciate all the super stickers and support. Thank you again, guys. If you want to see what's going on with Green Hulk and Greg Gaddis, Greg, where should they go?
Yeah, so the greenhulk.net PWC Performance Forum, and then, of course, the Green Hulk Garage YouTube channel, which I haven't posted in a while, but I've got stuff coming, videos that need to be edited, they're already filmed, so we'll have some updates on there soon. And if you want to reach me directly, please email me at sales@greenhulkstore.com.
Very cool. All right, for you guys who haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, please go ahead and do that. That would be very nice. And if you haven't already, please go over to watercraftjournal.com and hit subscribe to the newsletter. We publish new articles every day, Monday through Thursday, with a newsletter on Friday. So it's 4 articles a week. And it's entirely subscription free to you. No passwords, no downloads. Still one of the best industry and user-friendly industry magazines that you can get. Thanks again, guys. And until the next show, we'll see you at the magazine.